Hello guys, in this video we are going to learn how to create Amazon EKS cluster using EKS CTL. So EKS CTL is a command line utility that helps to create EKS cluster. So right now in this video, first we are going to create this EKS using EKS CTL through Cloud Shell, AWS Cloud Shell. So I already activated my AWS Cloud Shell, and from my Cloud Shell I will provision this EKS cluster. Later on, once we are done from here, I'll just validate from the Cloud Shell, and later on I will try to access that cluster from my local computer. So the very basic thing is we need to have AWS CLI installed, EKS CTL install, and kubectl. So anyway, we are in Cloud Shell, AWS CLI, anywhere it will be there. Just double check the kubectl. Yes, kubectl is installed, and EKS yeah, EKS also installed. So I'm just following a documentation. I just created a document like with a simple steps. So first I'm going to create EKS master component without any node group with this command. Later I'll attach the OIDC provider to my new cluster which I created, and then I'll create a public node group. Once we are done with this, we just validate all the steps. So let me execute the very first command to create a cluster. So here I am using my EKS cluster as my cluster name in US East 1 region, and these two availability zones without any node group. So I'm just going to execute this command, and anyway this command will take 15 to 20 minutes of time to provision this EKS cluster. So once this EKS CTL instruction execute this command, it in turns backend it will execute a cloud formation template. Here if we refresh, you will see like EKSCTL, my EKSCTL cluster. So it is in progress. Once this cloud formation uh, stack creation is done, then we are able to see our new cluster here. So right now it is in creating stage. Once we are done, it will show as completed. Then we will proceed with the node creation and OIDC provider attached to our Kubernetes cluster. Till that I'm just passing this video. So our stack got completed, the creation of our stack got completed, and now we are able to see the status as active, and it created our cluster 1.27 version. And you can see it created a security groups, NAT gateways, elastic highways, route entries, policies, all those things. So as of now we didn't added any node groups. It's in our next step, so that's why you're not able to see anything here. Node groups, networking, all the stuff we added. So in our next step we will associate the OIDC provider to our new cluster. So here still our cloud shell needs to get update from this cloud formation stack. It will take time to fetch. So now our EKS cluster is ready to use. So now I am just executing a command to associate OIDC provider to a new cluster. It's done. Next step is we need to first we need to check whether the key available or not. If not, you need to create a new pair, or else you can import the key pair as well. What it's up to your wish. I'm just uploading my public key. So next step is done. So we need to execute this command to create the node group. So here we are creating a node group and associating to our Kubernetes control plane or cluster in region US East 1 and with the name as this is a public node group, and it's of size T3 medium, two nodes and minimum 2 and max 4 like that. So node volume size 20, SSH access is there, it's a managed cluster. So I'm providing access to external DNS, full ECR access, app mesh and ingress like that. So just pasting this and executing this command. This will take time to provision the two nodes and attach it to our Kubernetes master. So it will create a two EC2 instances. It will take time to provision those two. I'm just pausing this video. Once it get created, then we'll proceed with the validations. Again, it initiated the CloudFormation stack, so it will take time. This is the CloudFormation stack. It is going to create these policies and attach the rules, node group, all this stuff. So the command execution is success. We'll just validate whether the two nodes created. Yes, it got created, and node groups. Let's give a refresh. You see we have one node group and two EC2 instances got attached. So now we are done. So we'll do a validations. So let me first type EKSCTL guest cluster to check our cluster information. You see only one cluster we created with EKSCTL, so it is showing my EKS cluster on US East 1 region like that. And let me validate with kubectl command to check the node versions, node details. Now you are able to see the two nodes are in ready state of version or internal and external IPs we created in a public node group, so that's why I get external IPs. So even we can check our kubectl config file. So this is our config file information. So with this we are done with creating the Kubernetes cluster using the EKSCTL. So in the next step we are going to same access this cluster from our command prompt. So right now in my command prompt I don't have any context, so if I execute anything it won't give any response because we don't have any context attached. So let me configure this cluster. So for that, first thing we need to have AWS CLI. So I'm just providing my access key and secret access key here, and then I'm fetching my now what with this command AWS EKS update config in the region and with our cluster name. So I'm just fetching my kubeconfig file to my local. So this is my cluster, my EKS cluster. My EKS cluster. So now kubeconfig file attach. Let me check kubectl get nodes. Kubectl get nodes -o wide will give more information. So this internal IP, external, all those things. Let me type some kubectl commands and check whether I'm able to see the response. kubectl get pods in all namespaces. Kubectl get all in all namespaces. So with this we are done with this video, like creating cluster from the cloud shell as well as accessing from my local. So thanks for watching.